Okay, so in last week's video, we went through and explained how to make a character have gravity, and we went through about all these different things about setting the gravity and changing the gravity. It's all a little bit confusing, and still to this day, I still have to look at the coding before I do it. So it's like I said, it's something that as long as you understand why it's working, it doesn't really matter if you have to look at it for a while. But now today we're going to try to turn our game into a fully functional game that works completely. Because at the moment we've still got a game where you've got a character that's gravity, can jump on different things. There's a few glitchy little things which is good to try out because instead of having to jump down to this one down here, you can just accidentally jump up the top, and we don't want that to happen. Plus, if you do fall, nothing happens to you. So we want to kind of change a few things and also have something that you can get at the end. Okay, so firstly, we want to make sure that if we reset the game by clicking the flag, that your character always starts back here. So the way to do that would be that when the game starts, when the flag's clicked, that you want it to go to whichever the coordinates it's at now. So that's minus 214 and 142. So then if it runs along here, as soon as you reset the game, it goes back to the start. That's a really good starting point because otherwise you have characters getting lost completely. We don't really need to worry about having the F1 edge bounce in this game. It's really not that important. Second thing, I think it's a bit too easy this game, so we're going to make each of our platforms a little bit harder. So let's change all of our platforms down to about size, let's say size 30. What does 30 look like? Let's go even smaller. Let's go size 20. I don't know why that's not working, sorry. Grab this one, 20, same as Sprite 5. Sprite 6 will make size 20 as well. Now we'll try to position them around to make it a little bit harder so that your character isn't just automatically just going to win this game super easily, because we don't want it to be too easy for you to complete. Alright, let's try this out. This is what's the fun part of the game, is the whole testing process. I find this part the most enjoyable part of the game. Okay, let's give it a go. Press reset. It's actually getting pretty cool now. Yeah, I like that. Just test that one more time. If you do find that your character, like even if it's not fully getting there, is still surviving, you might want to change it, go back to your character and make it so that you're changing the gravity by -2. Just that little bit extra of pulling it down. Yeah, it looks like it's a bit easier. Oh, it's still a bit too hard, actually. We'll change it back to -1 for now. Okay, now you've got to have a character that loses the game. Let's think about how we're going to do that. What we might do is we might have, sorry, let's go back and create a new sprite. We're going to paint down the bottom of our screen a really thin, what color are we going to make it? Let's make it purple. That's the outline is purple. So to match that, we're going to make sure when we fill the color, we're going to use the exact same color as the outline. We want it to be exactly that color. Okay, and we're going to drag this block down the bottom. Might try to make it a little bit wider so it goes all the way. Okay, so now that's the base for our thing. So if your character loses and hits the bottom, we're going to try to make your character lose the game if it hits the bottom. How are we going to do that? Well, I think we should have already learnt this from before in other games. It's pretty much like some of these other bits of coding we've got here. Let's put one in here. So we're going to say, when clicked forever, if my character, if it touches the color, yeah, let's do color. Or we could do sprite. You could do touching color, or you could do touching sprite 7. It wouldn't really matter. Both coding would work. If your character is touching sprite 7, then we want, firstly we want everything to stop. Stop all, but we also need a new background here where we'd say text and we say game over. Make sure we put that in the middle again. Okay, so that goes game over in the middle. And then we go back and we say, in your sprite, if you're touching that, we want to change the background, switch the background to background 2. Yeah. Once again, hopefully you've already started to pick up what the problem's going to be now, which is the game over sign is going to be there always. So you should remember what to do now. You would say for when this thing is clicked, we're just going to make sure that we switch the backdrop to backdrop 1. So now you've got the first backdrop starting, but if as soon as you touch that purple, it's game over and everything stops and you can't do anything. Yeah? It's pretty cool, right? We're getting there. We're slowly making a few different games and making it actually quite a bit easier for us to make whatever game we want. And this game's getting a little bit harder as we go. Even though that gravity was a bit difficult, it actually makes the game so much better. We might need to duplicate a couple more of these things, I reckon. Oh my gosh, they duplicated the size 50, not the size 20. That's a bit annoying. Okay, you would go through and you would keep making sure that your character, we'll just make one, oh there we go, it's all starting to work now. Duplicate, we'll do one more. Okay, so how are we going to make your character win? Well, let's say if it does get all the way to the top. See, that's a bit of a glitch where you can kind of rest anywhere on it. We might try to figure that out in a later episode, in a later lesson about how to fix that. So what's going to make you win when you get up to the top? Well, let's give it something to win. Let's make another sprite. Is there a diamond or something like that as a sprite? I wonder. No, what about gold? Okay, so there's nothing really worth winning. What would be worth winning for a cat would be, I don't know, wool. That's ridiculous. Didn't work. Okay, let's make it just win for sake of things. Make it win a bell. Okay, so we're going to firstly make the bell small enough so that actually will sit on top of this one. So we'll maybe make it size 20. Yeah, that's pretty cool up there. Okay, great. So now you've got to make your character. What happens if your character actually touches the bell? Okay, let's do it. So if your character, it's pretty much the same as, really it's the same as this one. I'm going to duplicate this and use this one again, but I'm going to get rid of the switch backdrop one. Okay, if touching, it's not sprite 7 now, it's sprite 8. If you're touching sprite 8, we're going to switch to a different backdrop, which is going to be, well, it depends. If you're going to have you win, that's fine. If you want to have a different level, you could have a different level it would switch to, which might be, let's say if it was like this version. Okay, so it's going to switch to backdrop 3. So now if I'm touching, once I touch the bell, I want it to switch to Night City. And I'm going to also make sure that hopefully that this initial backdrop here would still mean it switches back to the start. Yep. Okay. Now you'll see there's some issues with this. Why did it switch to that background already? Did I do the wrong sprite? Oh, I did. Okay, so sprite 8 is one of those random red ones, so I'm going to go down to the bottom. The bell. There we go. There you go. There's always a reason why the coding didn't work. Okay. Oops, I died. Let's try again. Yep. Can't complete my own game. Okay. Great. But really, it's not that great because nothing actually happened. You didn't go to the next level. So we could probably go through it now really quickly. What we're going to have to do is do a quick little thing in Sprite, not Sprite 2, but in Sprite 3. Let's do something where when clicked, sorry, if the cat touches, let me remember how would I do that? How would I make those things hide if I touch the cat? Let me think about that. If I'm touching, if the sprite, probably has to go in the cat actually. If you're touching the bell, then we'd have to make all those other characters hide. Not really sure about how to do that. Let me think about that. I might pause it and get back to you. Actually, let's just say, okay, so that's all we're going to do for today's lesson, and we might go through how to make the next level next time. Thanks for watching.